Okay, welcome back to Tea and Stuff. I'm here with my new friend Yao Yao. I've been aware of you for a while. I've seen you, popping around on different people's feeds, and I've seen you mentioned here and there. And I know you did some stuff in the past out in Texas. But I've gotten to know you a little bit just personally, but I come to think I don't know much about you. So I figured I would just sort of start it off by just asking, who are you and where are you in the tea world?
Okay, thank you for your invitation. And yes, who am I? This is very okay. So I'm starts with my name. So my name is Yao Yao. So my first name is Yao, and my last name is Yao. So this is super easy to remember. Since when I'm growing up, it's like a super easy, And I grew up. I'm original from China, and Zhejiang province, and grew up very close to the big capital city, Hangzhou. Everyone will know, like a Dragon Well. And I'm not exactly born the city. I'm not like a city girl. But after elementary school, then move. So my family was in the more close to the city part. And yes, so very lucky growing up with a really beautiful scenery, Hangzhou, and especially Dragon Well tea. And we had a lot of spring break during the elementary school to middle school, and we always have the spring break, and school will organize us to go to the Dragon Well village, and that time was not very tourism, not tourism at all. So anyway, I'm born 1988. So just to let people know, that time is not a super tourism time. And had the had a lot of chance to really meet the tea farm, drink the tea, since a little kid. But when you're growing up, you're a little kid, you really don't appreciate like those opportunities. So
correct.
Yeah, so always thought about it's older people thing. It's like not my thing. So be honest, I didn't learn too much tea when I'm so the whole story is I didn't learn too much tea when I was in China actually. And after my high school finish, I went to Japan for my college, and then had the experience of more about as a Chinese in a foreign country. So experience Asian culture more because they wanted the overseas students to see more about their culture, So that's the experience really started. It was a school tour for first year student, and going to the Kyoto we had the opportunity to see the very, very long Japanese tea ceremony. That's my first thought was like that. And also that time there is a Japanese words vocabulary to describe serious, like a lot of rule, like that words I remember called the kibishi. So we always talk about Japanese tea ceremony. We will think about that word is kibishi. Very, like step by step.
Structured, very
structured.
Structured.
Yes. And that was really brought me to a new world. So that time starts my tea. And I might go too far.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Still introduce myself. So after that, and I actually poured my first tea. This story is interesting. I didn't really, that's another story. I'm not going to go too further. But I want to mention my last year as an exchange student, I lived in Holland for 7 months. And the little town is very close to very close to Germany. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 7 months there. And that time I had a interesting Asian experience there. Okay. So, and we have some, because in Germany, in Holland, they have a lot of festival actually, like beer, like everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tried the beer. So I tell you, I always a good kid. Okay, I mean, yeah, I think so. I think so. I'm a good kid. So especially growing up with a very traditional Chinese family, so I don't really drink any alcohol, you know. So,
Mm-hmm.
but beer, it's in that culture. I really want to try because it's different culture, and I was still in college. Why not? So I tried. I don't like it at all. So I still have my tea brought every single time I go back home. I go back, Japan or Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Holland are the only ones. So my parents will pack a lot of tea for me, you know. So my tea, I have a very simple 盖碗. There is even no this one saucer, right? You guys call saucer?
Yeah.
I was very simple. That's it. 盖碗. Okay. That was very cheap one. And I do not even have a 公道杯. I don't have a 公道杯. And I do have, they have a lot of cups for people drink beer. You know, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cups and like shots or something. So I have leaves. Of course, I have leaves. Then 盖碗. So I was pouring tea. Actually, was in my school dormitory.
Mm-hmm.
The dormitory you're entering that area, I was have a front, and I was pouring tea, and and at that time, then people walk in after they finish the festival, have a beer, everything, right? They finish, and some people I remember it's been already over 12 years now. I still remember some people has beer inside of the cup. And I brought the tea to them and they drank it. They like it. I think probably the alcohol. I don't know.
It just probably like, well, you think about it, like especially when you've been drinking one specific alcohol for a while, your mouth is just gets pretty used to the flavors it's getting.
Uh-huh.
So when it got something different, it probably was a nice, interesting twist that
Mm-hmm.
was
Yeah.
probably very pleasurable. Yeah,
Okay.
beer was something that I like. I mean, I drank it in my younger years, but like
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't the taste. I just could not just I couldn't imagine just sipping on it and
Uh-huh.
and and enjoying it. Like it
Uh-huh.
would I'd have to like drink it quickly,
Uh-huh.
so I wouldn't really be enjoying it. It's not the same thing as like tea. Like tea, I sip and I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
every little part of it. But
Yeah.
beer was, I guess, a
So
different game.
I know. So it was totally different culture, everything. Okay. I mentioned this story because I had a really interesting experience during the festival. And me, actually, my really good friend, she's Japanese. We both are the exchange student to there. So we had now good experience there and interesting experience. So then I'm like, okay, I need to find something because you were young and I can't really fight with them, like really facing them to fight everything. So I always like to find something else can make myself very proud. So I just feel like, okay, I'm going to pour in tea. They never say that before. Okay. And then I was doing that, right? And so the response is not so strong, but I do see people's like, a response very interesting. Like, but the thing is that time I didn't really learn too much about tea, right? So they were thought that it's like more British tea time or something,
Mm-hmm.
especially in European country. So anyway, after school finish back, then um, I took those interest class in China. They have those interest class like free class for 2 weeks, kind of like those, you know.
Yeah.
That yeah, I took those class. It was not 2 weeks. Was only 3 or 4 class. Then I took it, and my parents was really supportive. They were shocked about how much I want to pick up the traditional culture. My parents, I was
Wow.
really surprised because mm, I don't know why they were really. My mom is way more supportive than my dad. She was really even reach out to her friends, my dad's friend, a tea farmer, and share with me of dragon well, like everything. But however, I came to United States, and then uh, I never thought about I was just sharing tea back that time. That is 9 years ago. So I was just majorly just like go to work, drink a tea. Even myself, I'm not even thought because people always have the idea of I was scared. That's it. It's not scared. No confidence. Was zero
Yeah.
confidence because I was in Texas. I barely even understand what they say, the English, when I just came in. I barely even know how to fill up the gas. It was so dumb. I don't know, like fill up the gas. There is a 93, 91. I feel like my English, I really learned English, but there is no useful, you
Yeah, when
know.
you put what you learned, it didn't translate always to helping identify what you need to identify.
Yeah, I was crazy. Then that time I more it's like trying to survive, survive
Hmm.
first, like trying to do more study and get a job, just like that, Didn't really think about okay, I'm going to share some tea culture. Then yeah, then after past 9 years, a lot of traveling, everything, and also myself is ready. Like I'm more like independent, more stable. I feel good and learning, sharing. So yeah, because of COVID, so really starts. Met a lot of tea people and drink tea even from Zoom, and internet. I mean, yeah, it's very enjoyable and uh, especially went to China to study the tea art, so make really confidence. So okay, that's like 20
So
minutes to
I say,
introduce.
so glad. No, it's so nice to like have your final story just sort of laid out because I knew things about you, but again, I didn't know timeline or how that
Mhm.
worked. So I grew up I was born in 85, so we grew up in a very similar time.
Yes.
And yeah, tea tea didn't get any real recognition here until Tivana became a
Mm,
thing.
yes.
Everybody always laughs and like pokes fun at Tivana, and obviously there is some things that you can make fun
Yes.
of about them.
Yeah.
But the one thing you have to say is that they really were the main driving force of
Yes.
loose leaf tea, and
Yes.
here's why you should steep it this way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we can laugh and point out the faults all we want, but Tivana was actually if there weren't Tivana, who knows how much further behind we'd be at this point. Like
Yes.
I think from where we were just with Tivana and where we
Mm-hmm.
are now is pretty advanced. Like it dropped out and then a lot of people lost that source connection for their T and T info. So
Mm-hmm.
like some of them just sort of fizzled out and got interested in other things, but some people like got that little like bug bite of good tea, and so they kept their ears and eyes open, and then when they see, at some point along life, then they saw a tea room, they were more apt to go in and try it, and
Mm.
then lead that, who knows, then that person becomes you or I, and they gong fu every day.
Mm.
So it's I Tivana was not all bad, and there were, you know, I think there are as many pluses as there are minuses for it, but needless to say, I think it did a lot for tea in the United States because
Mm-hmm.
I had oolong for the first time when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We had a local Chinese food restaurant in our town that we used to ride our bikes down
Mm-hmm.
and eat at. And when you sat down, they'd bring out a big pot of tea,
Mm-hmm.
and it tasted different from my mother's tea. And so
Mm-hmm.
one day, I was like, hey, you know what kind of tea is this? Like, what? This doesn't taste like my mom's tea. And you could just they immediately had this huge smile on their face, and they're like, oh, this is oolong tea. And I'm like what is that? You know what I mean? Like my whole definition of tea was like Earl Grey. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was all that my brain knew tea was or could be. Um, but sorry, my dog was barking. He just
I
disrupted my
can't hear
thought.
you.
Oh, that's makes me feel better. Disrupted my oh, so they were telling me about oolong,
Uh-huh.
and I could tell I just had so many questions, and so they're like okay. So they were tea bags. They were like wooey
Mm-hmm.
oolong tea bags,
Mm-hmm.
and so they took out a good handful of the tea bags, and they're like, here, they're like, take it home and
Mm-hmm.
brew it at home. And I was
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
like, oh, thank you. You know, that was a very nice gesture. I
Mm-hmm.
brought them home, and I remember the first time I made one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I when I used to make my mom tea, what I used to like about it was while it was steeping, I'd sort of hover over it, and I would inhale and just feel the humid warmth on my face. And you know, it was
Mm-hmm.
like I got to enjoy that while I was making the tea for my mom. Like that was my enjoyability of it. So when I
Mm.
brewed the oolong for myself, I got those just awesome aromas, and then when I took a sip, it was like I was transported into the restaurant. I could feel the restaurant. I could smell the restaurant.
Life
I could
change.
yeah, and all of a sudden you sort of realize that your brain's in another place and you sort of snap like, "Whoa, like what was that?"
Mm.
And that was sort of my first experience of tea being able to take you kind of out of where you are and place you somewhere else. And that was so yeah, that was high school. So that was about 2002. So
Wow.
that
2002.
I didn't hear the word oolong again until bare
Crazy.
minimum of 10 to 12 years later. I
Wow.
never even heard the word oolong mentioned again.
So, which means you didn't find any good Chinese restaurant.
So I'm in upstate New York. So I'm like 5.5 hours from New York City. So I'm like
Mm,
a lot of people here in New York, and especially if you don't know a lot about the states, you think New York City.
mm.
But New York City is like the tiniest part of the state, and I'm like I'm like kind of in like suburbia slash farm country.
Mm.
So out this way, we have a in the city that I'm closest to. The school it has a huge Asian population. But when it comes to how I think their food and drink is represented here, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's super poor.
Yeah,
Um, there's a
it's
couple
different.
places like for existent for example, if I want a good just basic pork and chive dumpling,
Mm-hmm.
there's maybe only one place locally where I could get them, and they're really not that great.
Are you talking about
Like
the pork chive?
just dumplings, just plain, yeah, like one of the basic staples of yeah.
Yeah, this is
So
猪肉韭菜馅. That's one
so
of my favorite.
after I went to New York City last, we filled our bellies full of amazing dumplings,
Oh
my
my
wife
god,
and I, right? And
nice.
so we came home and we were like, "Oh, well, we need to get dumplings. Even if they're not as good as New York, we're like,
Mm-hmm.
we just need to get some dumplings." So I got some from one of the places that's in the main student areas of the university area. So if you were a person to really want to represent your food, like this would be a really good place to do it, 'cause it's where a lot of the students hang out and congregate.
Mm,
It's where
mm,
the really good bubble tea places are. They're in this area. There's one or two there. But I got their dumplings, and I was so disappointed. Doesn't even I was I was honestly sad for your culture. I was so and they tout themselves, this place, I won't name it, but they tout themselves as, authentic Chinese
mm,
cuisine and
mm,
stuff.
mm,
But in my mind, like if you can't do dumplings right,
mm.
like it was just the type of, I don't even want to call it a noodle that it was wrapped in, and the insides was obviously like a pre-made, like almost
I
looking like
see.
meatball. So it was like
Ah,
it was upsetting because you could tell that they, if you asked them, "Hey, are you really prideful of what you make? Like, do you think this is a really great representation
mm,
of the food from your culture?" They couldn't, with a
mm,
straight face, say yes. It
mm.
was
I know. Mm-hmm.
I've had a few
Yeah,
other dishes from there over the years and not bad, but I was so upset by
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And what a somewhat simple, I mean, they're not easy to make. I know the process. Like it takes hard work and a lot of knowledge to know how to make them and prepare them correctly. But up here, it's just I feel like there could Asian culture could be represented a lot better, but
Mm,
uh, I can't blame them because the area could very well just not be
mm-hmm.
accepting of it. Like,
Right.
I mean, I know that myself, is that I can brew tea for people here, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll say they look and they get that interested eye, and you say, "Oh, would you like a cup?" They'll
Mm-hmm.
probably, if they're interested, they'll accept the cup, drink it, and if it's prepared well, you'll usually get an honest, "Oh, that was good, thank you." Like you get a good response. But if you just open up a tea room here and explain that, oh well, we brew our teas, this is more traditional, it's called gong fu, and you explain it out to them, and even if you use analogies like, how there's box wine and then there's aged, vintage single estate
Mm-hmm.
farm wine, uh, and then you do all that explaining, and then you sit down and you go, okay, what can I get you? They'll just
Mm.
go, oh, okay, no thanks, I'm just looking.
Uh,
So they'll be interested here, but
mm-hmm.
for them to commit to making a purchase towards something like high end tea, they're really, really hesitant.
Mm.
They're just they This is a big drinking city. That's kind of drinking alcohol.
Right.
It's kind of the only thing to do here, especially like, I mean, if you're, let's say you're in the dating field, there is literally one or two things you can do around here that aren't surrounded around alcohol. So unfortunately, it's all over here, which would be okay if I could have my own little tea oasis as well. But
Mm.
we did have a very nice tea room that very sad, the owner passed away years
Oh.
ago, and
Mm.
yeah, it was my first experience at a real tea room.
Mm.
Again, it was when I was in high school,
Mm.
and she served teas all differently. Some were gong fu, depending on what
Mm-hmm.
tea it was. It was served different ways, but because she was there and was able to present she was Japanese,
Mm.
so she was able to present things with true passion and knowledge and information that people were receptive to it. But
Mm.
you could see what happened after she passed away, and that element was removed.
I see.
It was
Mm.
much, you could tell it was much harder for them to keep doing
Mm.
things to the level she would have done them at, which is why people would go there,
Mm.
is to
Mm.
so it was so that was unfortunate. So it's that's why it's a two-edged sword. Is that no, there's not. I don't feel like Asian cuisine and is represented very well here.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you know what? Seeing what I've seen, I bet you a couple have opened. I had some good friends that opened Taiwanese folks that opened a Taiwanese restaurant some
Mm,
pretty locally,
mm,
and people just weren't receptive to it.
yeah.
I ate the food, and I will tell
Mm-hmm.
you, top notch food.
Mm,
Nothing like anything you could get around here. And for the hard work that went into the dishes, the
mm-hmm.
prices were not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, they didn't even last a year. And so it's sad. So that's what fuels me to just do what I do, and just what I hope that I'm doing is just helping people get into tea and like learn more
Mm-hmm.
about it,
Mm-hmm.
but to pay homage to where it came from, and to tell people this is how I feel about it, but this is the original teachings, and to not like I have no dreams of making tea my own. Like I don't want to be known as Jeff, the giant innovator of tea. Like I just want to serve tea. I just want to do it honestly. I just
Yes.
and I owe so much to tea because what it's done for me in my life, that I think that's why I take it so seriously.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like what you say about, um, you don't want to put yourself a spot as I'm the tea superstars, like kind of like this. You are work for the tea, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Yeah.
same, yeah, that's I love that so much because that's my whole idea of sharing the tea culture as well. Because sometimes social media, it will feels like people will put me as a tea art specialist, like even myself, I say that because the whole thing is I want people to respect this is art of the tea. It's not about how, yes, pulling as a TR specialist, yes, we're pulling everything in China. It's already since 1999. It's an occupational job, because so many people, want to pulling the tea, and we have regulations because we have so many people, so
Mm-hmm.
we have to pick the person who can really presenting the tea room, the tea company. Okay, so this part is really a very strong idea is when at school, when we're learning. So we learn a lot of small elements because we do not want to put ourselves as a person to control this tea table. We are one part of the tea ceremony. We are just trying to bring the tea. We are like a media. We are bring the
Mm-hmm.
tea to share with people. you know so
Yep.
that's thing is about the tea, the spirits about the tea. One is uh, the Chinese four spirits of the tea is 和静怡真, peaceful, quietness, and
Mm-hmm.
joyful and truthful. I'm not exactly translate right, but we say 和静怡真. So the everything is not about yourself. There's always starts with we, us. We don't trying to like tell the people I'm the superstar going to pour the tea to you. The superstar is always tea
Mm-hmm.
leaves, always trying to just want to bring the tea to the people, and the people and the me where connection is all because of tea. Because they are going to tell me how the tea tastes like, and I will share them about the aroma, the tea evaluation, like just to have the conversation between there, you know. And when you mention about uh, because there's 2002, you mentioned about the oolong tea part. right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting is I growing up, my home, Hangzhou, there's no coffee shop. There's no coffee shop, okay? No coffee shop. We go to tea house to study. That is the favorite part. I tell you how much? 5 yuan, wholesale. 5 yuan is how much? That time, less than $1. Less than $1. Me and my best friend, we will sit there like not Saturday. Saturday we have after Chinese. We always have my parents put me a lot of class. So Saturday I don't have my time. No, I don't have. I have other class like Chinese writing, painting. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy that time. And Sunday finally have my own time, and because we don't need to go church. so,
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I'm sorry, not a good joke. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
So,
No. I'm saying, oh my gosh, you have so much that you do.
yeah,
Like,
we're really crazy. We are Monday, Friday school, Saturday all day. I have taekwondo class, painting class, and the Chinese traditional dance. We have like a crazy. My parents are competition that time. It's different because China is developing that time, so they really want to put the kids in a competition.
and in
And
every
also,
competition possible.
yeah, we don't like it anyway. I still appreciate it now because I pick up those I'm still doing my writing and painting Chinese stuff. It's really help. And so Sunday it's my time, right? Me and my best friend, we will go study. We will go the tea house, okay? And my uncle, he run a tea house as well. So I go there. Then of course it's free, right? But yes, just an example. Hangzhou back 2008, not 2002, okay, 2008. That was my high school last year. 2008. I was a whole summer, excuse me, whole summer. I'm learning Japanese because I need to get my Japanese examination pass before get my student visa. So whole summer, me and my good friend, we were in Hangzhou, right? I looked up the research. I look up 2008, just Hangzhou, okay? Just an example, because I lived in Austin, in Texas, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth. Just an example, you think about the capital city, Austin, right? There is 300 tea room back 2008.
Really?
Yes, 300. Is that crazy? So they need all the people's job. So that's why 1999, they already have tea sommelier. Like if you want to work a coffee, you have to know how to brew tea, everything. 300. It's just a, idea of how many tea. I remember like even now my parents live in a condo. On the they have the first floor is always give to work and living, right? Then rent to people. Goes down the whole street, not that far. I don't know how far, but there's a whole street. Okay, it's already three tea room, just one street, and in the same apartment community building, like all the condos. So back 2008, okay, we don't have a coffee shop, and I think maybe like one or two, like really, really in the middle, like a fancy area,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they have because those fancy hotel, I'm sure they have coffee for But so my friend and me, 5 yuan, less than $1. We can drink. We pick a 3 type of tea. We drink a whole afternoon, and the best part, they have all the snacks. I'm not even joke. Chicken feet. I'm not joke. The chicken feet, that's the best because they just like dim sum. They have dim sum time. So they will, of course, you have to pay that, right? But as a student, man, less than $1, you'll stay, you'll stay till like supper. I don't even need to eat supper. I'm full.
That's so
Yes.
incredible.
I'm going to send you a picture because 2018, me and my best friend, we went to the same one. We want to go back the memory. I have the picture. We have the same one, just a different snack now. That was crazy. Of course,
Wow.
now it's rise up. It's crazy now. Now is if you want to hire, if you want a tea art specialist to pour the tea for you, that's very expensive, like a tea tasting. But just
Yeah.
yourself, it's still, I think, it's about $10, maybe $8, $10, but including all the snack and any hours you want to stay, like a crazy. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the best top tea, like a three, like you can just keep drinking. Yeah,
That's incredible. Yeah, we
yeah.
don't. Oh,
So
I
I'm,
just
I'm.
wish there was more of that. Like I wish. I don't know. I don't know what we need to get it moving, but it's and I don't expect that there be three tea shops on a single street here, but like
I know it's
in a
crazy.
city that has like any type of like international
Mm,
like it has like it's a school that like or just any basic US city, you would just think that a tea room would at least be able to survive just by
yes,
existing, by people
yes.
wanting it. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know. It's tough. It's definitely seems that easy, but it's not that easy.
yeah. It's definitely because the beverage culture is really different. It's
Hmm.
way always tea, and also, yeah, it's just a very quite different of I can't imagine like even the competition here if like one street have just think about we all know a Pike Market in Seattle, okay, just imagine Park Market Seattle, that area, okay, if we have a five tea house, the competition will be I don't know, I can't imagine that. Just to think about China, how good the competition, they just they it's just the Chinese people how they do the business. They don't every tea house they respect each other. They are friends each other, and
Hmm.
how you treat people, it's like okay. In China, we say my dad do business. Okay, so in China, the business people they start with a tea because my dad will tell me if you because I just started my Yao Cha like 2 months ago, but
Hmm.
he says if you uh, drink a tea, you can see the people's behave, how they appreciate the tea, everything. Then you start to think about do you want to do a business with that person, you know so in Chinese we have two things. If you want to know this person is you really want to have the connection or good people, something like that, drink a tea with that person and sit in the car together, see he's driving. It's very interesting, like in Chinese, like if you want to see this person, you want to do business or no, right? You see that
Hmm.
how he drives is very aggressive, like keep a you can tell.
Hmm.
Yes,
Patience.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Then drink a tea, definitely you can see, because I, for example, okay, some like a drink a tea, all the business people they drink a tea, and some they will be drink a tea, right? They are not going to pour the tea to you first. They pour themselves. Then I know that my dad will be like, yeah, he won't really tell him, but he's not going to do business with that person. The tea is like drinking tea is like you can just right away, it's like see everything of that person, pouring tea, the manner, and yeah, and even some make a huge sounds, boom, 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 boom. So as in a business meeting,
Yeah.
it's like not like a casual. So yeah.
I've learned to do that with producers. Like people ask how I like vet producers or how I like, decide that I want to do work with them. And it's
Mm-hmm,
like, well, I just keep talking with them. I ask
mm-hmm,
them questions. It's how, and I tell them it's how they answer. It's how passionately they talk about their tea. When I ask their, if it's here's a big one, asking opinion. So if a producer contacts you and they're like, "Oh, I make Taiwanese tea. I'd like to sell you Taiwanese tea," and you say, "Okay, I see you make a whole bunch. Which one are you most proud of? Like, out of the teas you make, which one are you most proud of?" If it's not a producer I want to work with, they'll just say the most expensive tea.
Right.
If
Right.
it if the person actually cares about their tea, they're gonna that's not going to be an easy answer question. They're going to say, "Well, I mean, it kind of depends on what you like because I have this that's really," and then you can tell they know their product and they drink their product because they like it. The other person is just trying to make the sale. So with that person, as soon as they realize that you're not the one to make the sale, they'll just drop away.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's how
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the words they give in their answer, but how it's said.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. This part I heard and also talked to when I'm in China. I talked to tea sourcing.
Hmm.
This is very interesting. Is how to say. So a lot of foreigners came to China, right, mainland China, to get their tea. So the foreigners are like a way very we know the May leave, right?
Hmm.
May leave. You are friend with him, right?
Hmm.
So those are the one they put their whole life on the tea and go to tea farm, learning, stay with them. It's different than some group is go there for tourism too. You know, so
Hmm.
so the I heard of this when I'm in China is the tea farm actually they really want to share their tea to foreigners, right? Because it's presenting the culture and the support and business everything. They are happy foreigners is going to presenting the tea to the other foreigner people, other country. However, some foreigners came in, they only ask, like, what's your expensive tea? Like they ask that way, like they
Hmm.
don't even learn the tea processing everything, but what they want, they just want expensive and well known. Like, oh, I heard about Dragon Well. I heard about Da Hong Pao. Let's get that.
Hmm.
So it's make the tea farmer. It's like, okay, anyway, we don't really speak English. Okay, I'm going to sell you some. That's
Yeah.
a tea farmer. They talk. We even the school. They have the tea farmers. They okay. I tell you, what's the best experience when I had was in the tea expo in Beijing. Tea expo. You see the foreigners there took a bunch, of course, picture they have to. That's a good experience. No matter what, they're in China at the tea expo, right? They want to
Hmm.
experience. But then you can see the difference. When they front, I remember front the Phoenix, 凤凰单丛 Phoenix single bush front.
Hmm.
The guy have all the tea, okay, all the tea there. And he asked me and my partner to hold the cup because my partner is American, so they see Americans speak
Hmm.
English, okay, and they from Australia. So we hold the cup, okay, just for him to take a picture of us, like because he's in China.
Hmm.
Then yeah, that's the experience. It's like all he want is like, and the tea farmer actually 凤凰单丛 the guy, he put all the sample. He's trying to share with us each tea. He's very passionate, exciting because he saw foreigner like tea. He's like, try this. This is a gold, gold award. This is a silver award, everything, right? But the foreigner he didn't try the tea. We are drinking. He take a picture of us. That's why of course I mentioned May Leaf. He's the
Hmm.
one actually really because from his tea journey, you can see there's more than that, more other awesome tea people. They go China. Really, even I had a few live stream with like anyway from other country, they go to China, really go study the tea processing, everything. Yeah, so I think that's very different two group, and they make the tea farmer be honest, right? If they just want a picture and the tea farmer, okay, I just sell you tea. Yeah,
Yeah.
mm, it's different way, and yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
I think there's different types. There's all different types of tea businesses.
Yes.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that there needs to be, like, not
Yes.
every tea business can
Right.
be high end single estate.
Yes.
So it just depends on what you're looking for. So that's why
Right.
people will be
Right.
like, oh, I want to buy tea from this place. Is it
Mm-hmm.
good tea? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, what do you mean by that? I mean, are you asking me on like a gong fu standpoint, is this high end tea?
Mm-hmm.
No. But with this same tea, are you asking me, could I make an okay cup of tea from it? Yeah, you could probably make an okay cup
Yes.
of tea from it.
Yeah.
It's two separate things. It's
Right.
what experience are you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right. Yeah. I like this because I think even those tea tour, they go take a pictures, but they share this on social media. It's still sharing. It's
mhm.
still spreading the tea culture, because I'm not doing this part. So there is someone else in doing that part. So it's still sharing, it's just a different sharing and a different, their own different job on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Everyone have their job, on the Earth. So yeah, I think,
Like you said though, I'd like to see the a lot more of the tea culture in the US be more friendly with each other. Like the
yes,
businesses, because America is a very cutthroat when it comes to business attitude. Like, you're to win, technically everybody else is to lose. And
mm,
I feel like that was hammered into our how we knew to do business
mm,
for so
mm,
long, that I
mm,
feel it's this weird little thing that we're trying to work out,
mm.
because it's our the way
I
we
know.
structure business isn't that honest. And a part of the tea industry is very honest. Like,
Mm,
when you go down to the single estate people.
mm-hmm. Yeah, you said that part is interesting. Is I do see after nine and a half year in United States, 9 years. So I see the structure of people how to do business here is quite different in China. China is we make friends first, and then we make friends, and even the business over, we're still friends.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so
don't get, like, when I put out a sale,
mm,
I'm putting out a sale because I want to give people an opportunity to buy something from me. But by doing that sale, I'm not trying to persuade you to not buy someone else's tea
mm,
at all. The
mm,
bottom line for me is just to get, if somebody's looking for good tea, just to get them good tea.
mm,
If they buy it from me, great. If they buy it from someone else, that's fine too. It
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
as long as
I
they're
know.
experiencing.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. It's the when people marketing as the best tea in United States. It really sounds like it's hard for other tea business. The way. Yeah, I'm sure there is people's intention is good. Wants
Hmm.
sharing the tea, and I think I still will take a time to reach to the Chinese tea, the four spirits, like harmony,
Yeah.
the harmony part, truthful, harmony, joyful, because when you're really harmful, truthful, the joyful come very easily. When it's on the tea table, there's no such Okay, I want to mention this. Do we still have time?
Oh yeah, we still have a little bit of time.
Okay. Okay, so I want to really mention this tea table talk. It's different. I experienced different. So in China, tea table talk, it's because we been talking like this. We talk very, how to say? So we will go a tea room, right? First,
Mm-hmm.
when I was a student, I will most will be just use tea room as a study place, like a coffee shop study, right? So
Mm-hmm.
don't have too much. Then tea room is become a business. Most of people do business. They will have a talk at, just like coffee shop.
Yep.
So people, most will be very good behave. Like people always have another impression of Chinese people, talking everything. But at the tea house, when in a business meeting, it's always very uh careful. People talking very careful. And then the tea room it's becoming more friend chill together, chill time.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun, and you can barely. It's fun. Also, you can barely hear another person talking because so much fun. It's just the whole table. I mean, you are in New York. You saw Chinese restaurant. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a very joyful fun. We go there is for joyful time. We bring the joy at home if something funny, something stuff, right? Even not a happy thing, we share on the table, but it become funny. Like everything is fun.
Yeah.
Like then um here I do notice when people reach to a topic, political, like all those, then I feel like the tea is they forgot the tea. They're drinking
Yep.
tea, but the tea is liquid. What's the difference? You have a soda, like you just have a soda water next. So what's the difference? A juice. Because you guys talk the same thing when you drink juice, drink wine, you guys talk about those stuff too. you know
Yep.
so the tea in China is like a very therapist. It's like a therapist. So we go tea room, it's like people say, oh, let's go to kitchen, let's have a talk. you know so the tea, which means here, which means let's have a happy time. Okay, we do have, of course, Chinese, I do have stress time, I have like
Yeah.
we're all humans. But when the tea time, we're trying to bring as positive as I can. But here I do notice sometimes on the tea table, I have a few times I really want to leave. It's because the topic going to political, private, really deeper, make uncomfortable because I'm coming here, drink a tea. I come here 1 hour, spend time, good time with you guys, have a tea. Let's just have a tea talk, even though we can talk about ourselves, everything. But it's not about yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
We had that happen at our events that we held prior to COVID, where some weekends it was all about the tea and everybody was just putting in positive input. But then
mm-hmm,
there were some weeks where, somebody brought in their, personal stuff and made
mm,
that about them. And I started, there were some times where this would happen where I would get contacted after the night by people
mm-hmm,
that came, and
mm-hmm,
they'd be like, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but they'd be like, I
mm-hmm,
just wanted to say, I didn't really like the direction that the
mm,
second half of the session went.
yeah.
And I'd have to sort of absorb that and just go, okay, I agree. Be like, so then I'd
Mm-hmm,
have to try to, I'd have to be super mindful of that. So to let people talk, let people be light, let people blow off a
mm-hmm,
little bit of
mm-hmm.
steam
Yes.
in a way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is like you said, as soon as that narrative becomes too strong on those
Mm-hmm,
points, it's
mm-hmm.
like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This you got to remember, this is tea time. Like ultimately,
Yes.
like you said, like
Yes.
this is a good thing. The rest of your
Yes.
day can be worrying and can be stress and can be
Yes.
filled with anger, but like this is like literally the one time where you should feel
Yes.
some middle ground.
Yeah, I definitely agree because that's the tea for in China. I want to share the China because people were, as you know, like, oh, we all drink a tea. I mean, it's great. People can share. Even in China, when drink a tea, we share everything we are, but we still have the awareness. We have the awareness is a time to stop, a time to share something else. Because the tea, the whole idea is the four spirits, we are going to make a harmony. If the tea table, you miss one of the elements of the four spirits, right? Harmony and the joyful, truthful, right? It's a shift. It's a shift. When it's missing. Then when it's missing, it's not tea time. You guys can just switch to wine, to beer. So that's the tea magic about, because people always talk about tea magic. That's the magic about it for me. It's you know what I mean? Oh, I want to climb to myself, man. I get excited.
I'm telling you, what a perfect. It was. I mean, we are coming up to the end of our time.
I know.
I can't express though how much your last point
Mm-hmm.
brought everything around. Like it really did. Like it took like most of what we talked about and it like brought it all back around to a good point. Yeah. I was like, as you were talking about it, I was like, yes. I was like, this is like such a good note to end on.
Thank you. I even did the feel. I just talk to them. I'm like, wait, yeah, that's a good talk.
So now so like I said, we're gonna have to get packing up. But so if people want to get a hold of you, if they want to hear more about you, like how do you prefer to be contacted? Or
marketing time. I like it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the fantastic podcast. I love it so much, and it's on YouTube, right?
Yes, so, I'm working on getting it up on Spotify now, but it'll still take me a little bit to do. So right now, just YouTube.
Okay, thank you. So everyone who's watching, thank you for watching. And mostly I'm active on Instagram. Is my Instagram. I changed your name.
I can put it up. I'll put it up.
Okay.
I'll put it up so that it's because like sometimes saying an Instagram name comes out. So it's better just to put the text.
Okay. Then my Yao Cha here. Yao Cha. Okay, I made this my own logo. I made my own logo. Yay! So, if you guys interested on Zhejiang province, Hangzhou's tea, from hometown, you guys give a try. And also, I do tea tasting and have really couple good China national standard tea course. And I don't teach you Kung Fu tea. It's included Kung Fu tea. It's just if you guys want experience what's a tea art, and do a tea ceremony or something. I'm teaching those course, and thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I really, really appreciate it. I'll do a last sort of cheers to you.
Okay. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.